Hey, I hope you're well. Let's talk about the elephant in the room here in April 2023, the Federal Reserve. As most of you know, the Federal Reserve sets interest rates. The Federal Reserve has lowered rates at every Fed meeting since January of 2022 last year. And from 16%, as I've mentioned many times before in the 80s, to 1% a little over a year ago. The Fed held rates absurdly low for over a decade until they started raising them, like I said, in last January. And as I said, the Fed raised rates at every single meeting since, something they've never done before in history. As a result, we see a dozen plus banks report they are having problems and need bailouts or face insolvency. The crisis is already happening. Are we to think that was it? How could bank balance sheets not get worse and some even become solvent? They are in the business of loaning money. 18 months ago, it cost $3,000 approximately a month for $1 million home mortgage. That same $1 million loan today costs almost double, $6,000. That's double. So generating new loans, the bank's primary source of income, has plummeted. They raised rates fastest in history. No one wants to pay 100% for the same loan they paid half for a year ago. If the mortgage on a $1 million home was $30,000 a year ago, but $60,000 a year now, what happens to the real estate market? Either prices plummet or interest rates go down. It's coming down. It's that simple. How about business loans? How do new businesses grow? Capital, loans. If loaning capital costs twice as much as over a year ago, then growing a business costs twice as much. So business growth slows, bank growth slows, and thus the economy slows. How about rising defaults on current loans? People can't pay because the rates are higher. How about credit card balances? If you're having a hard time paying interest over a year ago, what about now? I mean, again, I don't have a crystal ball, as I always say, but I don't see how the economy or market can go back to any highs or higher. It seems to me that we haven't seen the worst of it. These higher costs are slowly playing out in the economy. These rate changes and their effect are not instant, like turning on a light switch, but more like that of the oil tanker turning around. It takes 10 miles for an oil tanker to turn around, as I had mentioned on a previous video. This white wall behind me is pretty bright. The sun's over here. So the economy is more like that oil tanker than a light switch. Things take time to play out. On another note, for those of you who signed the option agreements, I have been writing covered calls on your accounts, and it's been working well. And so if you have any questions on options, I'd be happy to discuss it with you. It's too complicated to put it into a video, so you could give me a call. It really is a great way to generate cash and sell positions at a higher price. And especially if you're holding positions anyway, there's no reasons why everyone shouldn't write covered calls. So if you know anyone who has a large stock position they hold, I can guarantee they would be interested in hearing about the covered call strategy if they're unfamiliar with it. I mean, I would guarantee it. Not all accounts can utilize this strategy though. So if you can, Danette asked you, and most of you filled out the paperwork. If you haven't and are interested in options or just want to talk about them, of course, let me know. Give me a call anytime or Danette. Again, in closing, I've said this the last year a lot. I'm very certain about how the markets will react to all of this news and the interest rates going up over the next year. I think the market could easily see a rally maybe over the next month or two as it's been rallying before it gets worse. So don't be fooled if this does happen. The only thing that could change the fate of the market and the economy, shorter term, is that the Fed does an about face and brings rates way back down. In addition, we've got good money market accounts and bond accounts that we're earning a decent amount of interest today, which is great. So that's it. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, please let me know. As always, thank you for listening, and I hope to hear from you. Thank you. Bye-bye.